about, chemistry is so important with transfers. Take a look right here. Daly just gets a basket, but watch him look for Sky Clark right behind him, knocking it down. Great ball movement right there. And those two guys have fit Mick Cronin's culture to a T.
3 minutes in, and UCLA, and Daly has it denied at the rim. He was challenged. Trey Townsend moving in. Townsend with a tough shot, and it's last touched by Tobe Awaka, and it belongs to UCLA.
You're getting back to Eric Daly. Mick Cronin told us that from the day he arrived in LA this summer, he has not taken a single day off in the gym, even on days UCLA doesn't practice. When Mick looks down from his perch up there in that practice facility, Eric Daly is usually getting shots up.
He's coming off a season at 19 in that win at Oregon last Sunday. Here he is going to work. Dylan Andrews with a game winner against the Ducks, and he stepped on the end line, and a turnover committed by UCLA.
Now the danger for the Bruins, Roxy, as you know, is Caleb Love is capable of getting 30-35 today, and I think he has to have a big game in order for Arizona to break this schneid.
J.J. Lewis off the bench, the sophomore from El Paso, averages over 10 points a game. And UCLA, the Bruins, this physicality, the way, the style that Mick Cronin, it finally looks like he's got the pieces to be that team. Last year, it wasn't that way. It was a tough year for UCLA. But this year, you look at the roster, and it has more of the Mick Cronin makeup.
Well, they had a young team last year. They had all those international kids who didn't adjust to college basketball well. But particularly with the transfers, Bilodeau, Daly, Clark, they fit in like a glove.
Kobe Johnson.
Kobe Johnson, exactly, from across town, former Trojan. There you go.
Drive and the runner, Caleb Love.
Very
the guy
capable.
you're talking about needs to get it going.
He really does, and I love the idea that not settling for the jump shot, get to the rim, see if you can get fouled, and get yourself going that way.
And now this partisan Arizona crowd getting into it in Phoenix. Tyler Bilodeau rattles it in, the transfer from Oregon State.
Well, once again, those transfers, they hit the lottery in terms of guys that fit into what Mick Cronin wants. And Bilodeau, son of a former hockey player, he fits perfectly.
Drive and kick. Caleb Love had a good look at the three and will stay at this end, says Tony Padilla, and a foul on UCLA. Early lead for number 24 UCLA over Arizona. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball. It's brought to you by the Arizona Sports and Entertainment Commission. It is ESPN's Holiday Hoops presented by Kay Jewelers. This is the Hall of Fame rivalry presented by Continental Tire in downtown Phoenix, the home of the Suns, and the history of this great rivalry and the great players and certainly coaches that have been a part of this. John Wooden, Lute Olson. UCLA leads the all-time series, but Arizona has won 6 of the last 7. And including the Wildcats winning the Pac-12 tournament championship games in 2022 and 2023. That's great to see, Fran.
Yep.
Look, they're in different leagues now, but this rivalry will continue.
It's terrific. It's a great out-of-conference game. Obviously, there's history, and they'll play them on neutral sites. I wouldn't be surprised if they get back to playing on home courts eventually.
Henry Vasar in the game. And the 7'2" sophomore from Lithuania is going to get a lot more playing time today, maybe in the near future, as there's an injury for Arizona. And Motiejus Krivas was injured in practice this week with a lower leg injury, and it's indefinite how long he will be out. And so Tommy Lloyd's had to adjust his roster without his big man.
That's right. Vasar's a different kind of big. He's more of a stretch big. And they'll also play small with Townsend and Awaka as well.
Vesar from Estonia, actually not Lithuania. That's where Krivas is from. And now Vesar called for the foul, and that will put Bilodeau at the line. And there is Krivas on the Arizona bench with the boot on his left leg.
And he was coming along, Roxy, no question, playing about 16 minutes a game. He's 7'2", only a sophomore. We're expecting big things out of him in the Big 12, going up against guys like Hunter Dickinson. So hopefully he's back for Big 12 play. But Tommy Lloyd on the fly has got to adjust his team's style of play. And what you like about Mick Cronin is Vesar comes in and Bilodeau goes right at him physically.
Bilodeau 1 for 2 at the line, and the rebound secured by Henry Vesar and Arizona. I guess in some ways, Fran, it happened on Tuesday with Krivas, so it gave Tommy Lloyd a little extra time to prepare for this game and try to incorporate Vesar into what they're doing offensively.
Yeah, but they've got time over Christmas break, too, as they get ready for Big 12 if the big fella Krivas is not back. Good job by Jaden Bradley, who I think has been the most consistent Wildcat early in the season.
First points for Bradley. Kobe Johnson inside to Tyler Bilodeau, and a travel on Bilodeau, and the Bruins turn it over.
Well, you see the strategy, go right at Vesar, but that time Bilodeau shuffled his feet. And as we talked with Tommy Lloyd yesterday, those three guards, Lewis, Bradley, and Love, they have to be consistent. They have to be more consistent than they've been in the early part of the season. They're too important and have too much experience.
KJ Lewis. Shot clock down to 7 for the Cats. Knocked away and a steal by Sky Clark. And he pulls it back as the Bruins average almost 10 steals a game.
He looked like a Venus flytrap right there. He took it right out of Love's hands. Mick Cronin really pleased with Sky Clark. This guy's going downhill.
Sebastian Mack the kick. Kobe Johnson missing a 3. And it's last touch by UCLA. Coming up, 5:15 Eastern over on ESPN. Speaking of rivalries, the battle for the Bluegrass State. Number 5, Kentucky and Louisville. It's on ESPN tonight, 5:15 Eastern. And a lot of these rivalries being renewed today. UCLA, Arizona, Georgetown, Syracuse.
You know, it's something old, something new, because two terrific young coaches now in the Bluegrass State. Pat Kelsey and Mark Pope.
Trey Townsend. And the rebound batted around, and Henry Vesar grabs it for the Wildcats. Anthony Delorso, 3. First 3 for the Wildcats. Delorso, the transfer, the Aussies from Campbell University.
Kind of filling that Pele Larson role for Tommy Lloyd. Pele off to the Miami Heat.
Lazar Stefanovic, and it's intercepted by Delorso. And he stepped on the sideline. Arizona with the giveaway.
And that drives me crazy. You got to educate your feet in the corner. And Delorso's played a lot of FIBA basketball. Averaged 20 points a game last year at Campbell. But you got to know where your feet are in the corner. It's a tighter window down there.
And the appearance of Conrad Martinez, the sophomore from Spain. And Tommy Lloyd telling us yesterday, Fran, that I'm going to start playing Conrad, I think, a little bit more.
He's, you know, he's not TJ McConnell, but he's very similar. And there's another big shot. And Rox, you said it early, if this guy starts making jump shots, Sky Clark, it's a whole different dynamic for the Bruins.
He was shooting around 30% from the floor in the season coming into today. And KJ Lewis has it knocked away. Sebastian Mack. And a 3-on-2 developing for the Bruins. Transition three. Sky Clark again. He has 11 already, a season high.
I want to tell you something. The toughness of UCLA on this court right now is palpable. They are out physicaling the Wildcats.
A 6-0 Sky Clark run ended by a slam. Trey Townsend.
And there's that delivery by Martinez that Tommy Lloyd is looking for. He is a pure point guard.
Bilodeau. Turnaround. The soft touch from Bilodeau. Two-year starter for Wayne Tinkle at Oregon State.
I got a chance, so you did too, to watch him up in Corvallis. And again, when you go to the portal, you got to find guys that fit you and your style and your culture, and Tyler does.
Mick Cronin, having coached against him for a couple of years, had an understanding of Tyler Bilodeau.
No question.
And there's Bilodeau defensively for UCLA.
One thing you love about UCLA, they don't turn it over. This guy goes to the rim.
Sebastian Mack, the floater.
I want to tell you about him. He's picking up and drawing 7 fouls a game per 40 minutes. So essentially, he gets 2 guys in foul trouble every night.
And he's embraced the role of coming off the bench after being a starter as a freshman last year. Arizona goes inside to Henry Vesar.
Yeah, Wildcats are starting to get a comfort level now on the offensive end.
But UCLA is 8 of 11 from the floor to start this game.
Roxy, I know one guy that would have loved this pace.
Conference of Champions. No truck stops. Here we go. We got a game, Fred. Speaking of, oh yeah, Fred. Speaking of that, our buddy, Bill Walton. We can't talk Arizona UCLA without Bill Walton. We mentioned our guy, Bill Walton. Of course, as most of you know, passed away last May. Nobody would be enjoying this matchup today, would love to be in Phoenix more than Bill. These are 2 programs near and dear to his heart, of course. National Player of the Year for John Wooden, a couple of national championships at UCLA. His son Luke was a standout for Lute Olson at Arizona. And Bill's chair here today. In fact, a part of Bill is with us here courtside.
You know, Roxy, this is one of those days I wish I wasn't working with you, you know, because it's not right. Bill should be here today. We lost him, and in his legacy that he left behind, he was more than one of the great basketball players ever. He was one of the great human beings.
Bill's chair.
Right next to me. We're going to talk about the Sonoran Desert today and riding the jackalopes.
Any cacti discussion?
Oh, yeah. 72 different varieties of cacti in southern Arizona.
As you were riding your bike through the mountains this morning, Sky Clark with a shot clock winding down, and Arizona takes control. On the drive, and an offensive foul, a push-off. And we're going the other way, and the foul is on Caleb Love of the Wildcats.
You see this tough defense. Watch Caleb Love's right arm. Little extension. Easy call for Kip Kissinger. And we talked about it early. Now, Arizona is shooting 55%, but there's a toughness that you could feel out here in that beautiful blue and gold.
8 turnovers already for the Wildcats. Uncharacteristic. They average 11.5 a game. The kick out to Sebastian Mack. And the offensive rebound, Kobe Johnson takes it away. And the USC transfer who went across town just got leveled, and will get to the free throw line.
Yeah, Kobe is one of the best defensive players in the Big 12. He'll be in contention for National Defensive Player of the Year. And he had an easy trip. And you talk about Mick Cronin knowing about Bilodeau. He certainly knows what the kid from Milwaukee can do because he played against him for 3 seasons. Of course, the younger brother of Jalen Johnson is having a terrific season with the Atlanta Hawks, former Dookie.
3 years at USC for Kobe Johnson. He is 8th on their all-time steals list. Last year for the Trojans, averaged 11 points, 4.5 rebounds a game. And he missed both free throws in its last touch by UCLA and Dominic Harris, and it belongs to the Wildcats. This Arizona team, yes, the record says they're 4-4, Fran, but the schedule and who they played so far. They went to Wisconsin. They played Duke. They were in the tournament in the Bahamas, which no West Coast team really has ever done well in that field. And an offensive foul, the illegal screen out top, and it's the second on Tobe Awaka.
Yeah, they can't avoid that. Yes, you know what? Arizona has always played tough non-conference schedules. This is a pet peeve. Stay still. Stay still. That is an unforgivable sin from a big guy. You know that there are 3 officials out there, and if you move sideways and your feet are wider than shoulder width apart, you're going to hurt your team, Tobe, because now you've got to sit for a while.
So Arizona's 4-4. You got to go back about 15 years. The last time they started a season, it was Sean Miller's first year in Arizona, and the Wildcats began that season 4-4. And KJ Lewis has it stripped, another Wildcat giveaway. 10th turnover by U of A.
Those are toughness turnovers. They really are. This Arizona team is not matching the physicality of the Bruins early.
Flashing inside, and the drop in at the rim by William Kyle III for the Bruins.
Another one of those transfers who Mick Cronin told us is really starting to come on from South Dakota State. That should be goaltending.
And it is a goaltend against William Kyle III. Give the basket to Arizona, but it's UCLA by 6. It's their defense that is fueling everything right now.
Toughness. Mick Cronin style. Take a look. That's easy. That's 2.
23rd annual Women's Jimmy V Classic tomorrow on ABC. Louisville and number 22 NC State at 1 Eastern as V Week continues, and a great matchup tomorrow between Louisville and NC State.
NC State coming off a Final Four, first time in 25 years. Wes Moore, terrific coach. Jeff Walls as well at Louisville. They've been to the Final Four recently. And story of the game so far, Roxy's got to be those turnovers. Tommy Lloyd can't be happy with the way the Wildcats have given it away, but of course we expect that from UCLA, and we've talked about that toughness, and we've seen it early.
In their turnover margin this year, this is how Mick Cronin's teams in years at Cincinnati played. As they turned you over, they're a plus 7.5 per game in the turnover margin. That was deflected by Arizona into the backcourt.
And that leads to 10 more field goal attempts a game. And they certainly take advantage of it because they're not a great offensive team yet.
Kobe Johnson and a whistle and a foul. And Randy Richardson with a whistle against Arizona, and it's on Jaden Bradley.
Now this is interesting because Tony Padilla was very close to the play. He might not have got a good look. You see where Tony Padilla is at the bottom of your screen. You see the foul there by the Arizona player, and Randy Richardson across the way had a good view, and that's good teamwork right there by those 3 officials. 3, obviously, of the best in college basketball. I think that's a good call. You can't knock a screener down like that.
I wonder if Brent Brennan, the Arizona football coach, took notice of that good open field tackle by Jaden Bradley. And a timeout for UCLA in danger of a 5-second call. 30-second timeout. Bruins by 6. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball brought to you by Kay, the official partner of couples who love the game. Your wife loves the game.
Oh, you know it. You know it. Hey, by the way, the reason that UCLA had to call that timeout, Arizona does something unique. They take their biggest player and they put him on the ball, and that's usually Krivas, and right now it's Visar. So it doesn't matter if it's Sebastian Mack. Watch the 7-footer on the ball, trying to make it difficult for the ball to come in, and Arizona will switch all the screens. There you go.
And almost another UCLA turnover. The tie-up, loose ball, the arrow belongs to the Bruins as KJ Lewis on the deck with Eric Daly Jr.
UCLA had to work on that for a couple days. Take a look. Watch Visar. He's guarding a 6'2" guard, and he's harassing him. And very lucky to get that ball back.
So the length of Visar causing problems for UCLA. So the sideline inbound a little easier for the Bruins. Here is Tyler Bilodeau. Now they run the double team at him. Sebastian Mack cuts to the basket, and he gets the roll.
Sebastian Mack is a free safety playing guard. He is a physical downhill to the rim player and really valuable coming off the bench because essentially, Roxy, he's a sixth starter.
He averages 10.5 points a game. And yes, he doesn't play the first 3-4 minutes of the game for him, but he's playing about 30 minutes a game.
No question. And when it counts, obviously. And here's a good example. Good look by Bilodeau on the cut down the lane. And watch Mack. Those guys inside, they're of no factor. There's nobody rim protecting there. He's going to go right through the defense. Young man from Chicago who went to high school in Las Vegas. And the people in Las Vegas told Mick Cronin when he was in high school at Coronado High, we've got a Mick Cronin guy for you.
Across the lane, the floater. Caleb Love for the Wildcats. Arizona's shooting over 60%, but the problem is all the turnovers. They're getting good shots when they have the ability to take a shot.
Yeah, no question about it.
Five on the timer for UCLA. Sebastian Mack from deep. And the rebound, Henry Visar for Arizona. Caleb Love had a good look, and Kobe Johnson the rebound for the Bruins. Here comes UCLA. The step through, Dylan Andrews had it stripped. Back the other way. KJ Lewis behind the defense.
That's what these three guards can do when they're in there together. They can cause you some havoc. Here you go. Remember, it's a semi-home crowd for the Wildcats, and they like this defense. There's the pick, the run out by Love. Excuse me, KJ Lewis on the finish.
And now the familiar U of A chant from the red and blue decked Arizona fans in Phoenix. And the hands, Kobe Johnson a steal. Sebastian Mack in transition. UCLA ball.
And that's how you deal with the physicality of UCLA. Mack's trying to get to the foul line, which he does often. And watch Lewis play vertically. Excellent. Once he jumps straight up, that's called verticality. So the contact was initiated by the offensive player and no foul call.
First appearance for Trent Perry, the UCLA freshman. There's Visar creating a turnover. Inside, there is the 7-footer. Visar follows it up.
And that started because of Visar's pressure on the inbounds again. And a great find inside.
Arizona has cut it to 2. 6 straight for the Wildcats. And a steal. Carter Bryant ties the game.
Love the idea that Mick Cronin is not calling timeout.
On the shot clock for the Bruins. Tyler Bilodeau. Kobe Johnson hustling, lost it out of bounds. Arizona's turned the tables on UCLA.
And done exactly to UCLA what UCLA did to them early. Turn them over. And the one thing about Arizona, when they turn you over, they run and get out in transition, just what the doctor ordered.
Carter Bryant slithers along the baseline. The first lead since the early stages for Arizona.
There's a TV timeout coming, and Mick Cronin will not call one on his own.
10-0 run for Arizona. Trent Perry on the drive. And a whistle and a foul on the floor. But Arizona is out and running now, Fran.
Yep, and they've got the freshman going. Carter Bryant, take a look. The steal, the run out. Watch this athleticism, folks. And then one more time, little cut behind the defense. Finishing at the rim. And Tommy Lloyd likes this. He loves this comeback.
Look at Tito. He's here. Terry Francona, the new manager of the Cincinnati Reds, and a proud Arizona alum. Led the Wildcats to a national title. You have the Terry Francona batting cage at High Corbett Field down in Tucson.
If he's in town in Cincinnati on January 4th, he'll probably be at the Arizona-Cincinnati Bearcat game. I'll be in town with Rich Hollenberg for that one.
Oh, he might have even scheduled a trip to Cincinnati just for that game. But Arizona has turned the tables on UCLA. They've made 7 of their last 9 shots. They're turning UCLA over now. And from 8 down, Arizona has taken a 2-point lead here late in the first half.
Yeah, what's surprising to me, Roxy, is that UCLA, the first 12 minutes, physically dominated the action, especially on the defensive end. And Arizona, the light came on. And I wouldn't only say the light came on, but there has to be some growth in this team in terms of its toughness. Here you see the terrific freshman Trent Perry out of Harvard Westlake.
1 for 2 for the McDonald's All-American, who was the California Gatorade Player of the Year last year.
Great high school program. Nick Kamania will attend Duke next year. Robert Hinton, one of the best freshmen in the country at Harvard.
Lob inside over the top to Henry Vasar, had it stripped and taken away by the freshman Trent Perry. Sky Clark, who leads all scorers in the game with 11 for the Bruins. He's made 3 threes already, a season high in points.
I'd love to see Bilodeau roll out of there quickly. That's better.
Perry the drive and kick to Kobe Johnson. And the rebound grabbed by Carter Bryant, but taken away. Kobe Johnson lays it in, and UCLA seesaws in front.
That one play epitomizes Cody Johnson's ability to have an impact on the game.
The way the Bruins guards can get out and pressure, and a foul. It's on Tyler Bilodeau. It's Tony Padilla signaling he was in the cylinder, and that's why Bilodeau called for the foul, the first on the junior from Kennewick, Washington, up in the Tri-Cities area. Pasco, Kennewick, Richland.
Yeah,
3
there you
Tri-Cities. Just trying to channel my inner Bill Walton with educating.
Yeah, I guarantee you he has been to the Tri-Cities in Central Washington,
yes.
no question.
I know he's ridden his bike through them. The drop off to Trey Townsend. Henry Vasar. And the 7-footer trying the 3, and Tyler Bilodeau the rebound.
Well, Henry's going to get a lot of playing time the next few games. That's how it looks.
Stripped from Sky Clark. Here comes Arizona. Vasar runs the floor. And a foul. And it's on UCLA.
You know, Tommy Lloyd told us that the games in the Bahamas were all difficult quad 1 type games, and he was reluctant to give Vasar key minutes because of the importance of those games. And now, Roxy, you know, necessity is the mother of invention. With Krivas out indefinitely, the big Estonian is going to get his chance, and he's starting to kind of feel his way a little bit towards the end of this first half.
First foul on Trent Perry. Team foul number 5 on UCLA. Off the inbound, Bradley underneath, has it stripped. Chased down by KJ Lewis. And then Lewis has it knocked away. Last touch by UCLA.
When you watch UCLA play defense, I want you to watch when somebody picks up their dribble. They try to steal the ball with 2 hands. They practice that because they feel like you're not going to foul as easily. I want you to watch. Watch the reach in here with 2 hands. They just see how they just try to get there. They don't want to slap it out of your hand. They want to grab it out of your hand.
And discussion here with our officiating crew, and a good crew on this game of Tony Padilla, Randy Richardson, Kip Kissinger. And a 1-point game in favor of UCLA. 1:48 to go in the half. And this is a defensive team, and you highlighted what they try to do. But in this day and age, when teams are getting up and down the floor, they're holding opponents to 55 points a game. 6 of their 9 opponents have been held to 60 or less so far by UCLA.
Look at the scoreboard right now. What does Arizona average this year? 87? They've got 26.
They're not getting 87
no,
in this
they're not
one.
getting 87. Now, UCLA's not getting 87, but they don't care about that. They'll take a 53 victory and get out of here, get back to Westwood.
Some great defensive numbers, and this is more along the lines of a Mick Cronin team. The last few years, even those teams that, like Jaime Jaquez, they were really good offensive teams. They played good defense. But this, in year 6 for Mick, to me, without a doubt, is the best defensive team he's had in Westwood. Goaltend, give the bucket to Henry Vesar as the 7'3" Spaniard, Adai Mara, with the goaltend, and Arizona reclaims the lead.
Now, Mick Cronin wants a review to see if this ball left Vesar's hands before the clock went off. It's clearly a goaltend.
And because it was called goaltending on the floor, it has become reviewable.
That's right, especially in the last 4 minutes of the half. I can't see the clock. Is that the light on the backboard?
And to me, it looked like it clearly left the hands of Henry Vesar before the shot clock expired. So the goaltending call on the floor. And if it stands as called, Arizona with a 1-point lead. And for UCLA, 7 straight wins. They're 8-1, now in the top 25 after that win at Oregon last week. And their schedule's going to pick up. It starts today. Yes, look, winning in Eugene is a terrific win. Anytime you go beat a Dana Altman team and at Oregon, that's a heck of a win for UCLA. But you have Arizona today. Then another neutral site game. They're going to play North Carolina at Madison Square Garden next weekend. In 2 weeks, they get Gonzaga. So it's starting to heat up for Mick Cronin and UCLA.
And fortunately, they've already got a good enough record that they can withstand a couple of really, let's say a loss here or there to North Carolina or Gonzaga. But they're playing that schedule to get themselves ready for the Big Ten. And they're 2-0, so they're off to a good start in that league.
Call on the floor is confirmed. Give the bucket to Henry Vesar in the goaltend. And it's Arizona by 1. Bruins attack, Kobe Johnson. 3!
Not necessarily his biggest strength, but Mick Cronin has given him the green light on that 3 ball.
4 first half threes for UCLA. Arizona is just 1 for 6 outside the arc. Trey Townsend way off on the 3. Adai Mara pulls it down for the Bruins.
Let's see if they go 2 for 1, Roxy. Ideally, with a 30-second clock, you want that ball up by 40.
Here's Mara. Travel.
Boy, I'm not sure. I'm not sure that he dragged that foot. He doesn't think he did. Randy Richardson had a good look at this. Let's watch his pivot foot as he catches.
Yep, shuffled
he did.
the feet.
He shuffled it, yep. Those guys are usually right. They're not perfect, but they're pretty good at it.
Step back, Caleb Love over the 7'3" Mara. And on the floor, Sebastian Mack rips it away in a tie-up. Arizona ball with 29.1 left in the half. Coming up at the half on our Kay Jewelers halftime report. Auburn rolling past Ohio State. And Kansas trying to get back on track.
Tommy Lloyd has a use it or lose it timeout right here. Let's see if he does use it. He does.
So there is 19 on the shot clock for Arizona. 29 left in the half. Bruins by 2.
Oh.
2-point lead for UCLA, and this rivalry renewed in Phoenix. A quote-unquote neutral site game, but it is definitely an Arizona feel here inside the Footprint Center, the home of the Phoenix Suns. And after a sluggish start, UCLA's pressure getting to Arizona, they figured it out as this path has progressed.
They have figured it out, and what's going to happen when we reconvene at the end of at the beginning of the second half, we're going to have a knockdown, drag-out kind of game. And this game is really good for Arizona because they've started to match the physicality and toughness of the Bruins.
24 of their 28 points have come in the paint. So Arizona has had to attack this pressure from UCLA, and despite the 13 Arizona turnovers, they're down just 2. KJ Lewis at the elbow, and the rebound tip free, and the Bruins control it. Kobe Johnson with 12 seconds left in the half.
Let's look for Sky Clark to get downhill on a little pick and roll action. But he's got to go.
Launches a long 3, and that'll take us to halftime, and probably not what Mick Cronin had envisioned in the half.
No, go to the basket.
2-point lead, number 24, UCLA leading Arizona at the half in Phoenix as we go to the Kay Jewelers halftime report. Phil Murphy in the studio. It is ESPN's Holiday Hoops presented by Kay Jewelers. The Hall of Fame rivalry presented by Continental Tire. Downtown Phoenix, the home of the Suns, and home to the best rivalry out west in college basketball is number 24, UCLA, a 2-point lead on the Arizona Wildcats. Along with Fran Fraschilla and our ESPN crew, Roxy Bernstein with you. And an interesting first 20 minutes, Fran, when you consider UCLA jumped out to a big lead, and Arizona came back, but they did it different ways.
Yeah, UCLA did what they do. They grind it, they turn you over, and they got 24 points off of those Arizona miscues. They did a really good job. Watch how they just grab the ball out of your hand. They practiced that. The ball moved well. They got off to a really quick start because of that defensive effort that we've actually, quite honestly, come to expect from Mick Cronin teams. But I like the way Arizona responded, especially with more toughness, and especially, Roxy, in the paint. They were able to get inside. Bruins don't really have a rim protector right now, so you got to go at them, and I thought Arizona did a good job of bouncing back.
So a 2-point game at the half, and Arizona with a strong close to the first half. And not only is Fran here with me, but of course we have Bill's chair. Yep. Because it has to be here for UCLA Arizona. What would a UCLA Arizona game be without Bill Walton?
We miss you, Bill. We love you, and you meant so much to so many people, and especially here in the great state of Arizona.
And nobody was more excited to be at an Arizona-UCLA game than Bill. Not just from a personal standpoint because of his connection to UCLA, but so proud of all 4 of his sons, but of course Luke,
yep.
A standout for Arizona and had a great career in his own right, still going strong as a coach in the NBA.
Well, that relationship goes back a long way. In 1974, UCLA won the West Regional in then brand new McHale Center right there in Tucson. So we miss you, Bill, and man, I'm just glad I'm sitting with you today and get a chance to see this game.
And a great atmosphere, as you could imagine. And it's great this game is continuing because for so long, these two programs, and of course you look what Oregon's done recently, but those are the schools that dominated the Pac-12 for the most part. Mike Montgomery had a great run at Stanford. And in the earlier days of the league, when Ralph Miller was still at Oregon State and what he did.
Well,
it was Arizona, UCLA.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, when you think of the greatness of the league, Conference of Champions, of course, you think of UCLA, Arizona first. And, hey, good sign for UCLA. Sky Clark was terrific in the opening minutes of that game, and he's exactly what the doctor ordered. And Roxy, Mick really likes his transfer group. They have fit right in.
second half, Sky Clark leading all scorers for UCLA with 11. A season high, by the way, for Clark, who had been struggling scoring. He'd done everything else that Mick Cronin had asked, and the shots just weren't falling, but they did in the first half with a transfer from Louisville. And the LA native who began his college career at Illinois is Dylan Andrews missing a three, and Jaden Bradley the rebound for Arizona. Henry Vasar leading Arizona with 6 points in the first half. And again, Vasar getting more playing time because of the injury to Motias Krivas, who is going to be out for a little while for Arizona. And the block shot, but a foul. That's the third on Eric Daly Jr. And Arizona will go to the free throw line. Now,
Mick Cronin is very conservative. He almost never, ever plays a player with 2 fouls in the first half. Well, like 4% of the time. It's as low as anybody in the country. So we didn't see Daly after the second. Now he picks up his third. So we're not going to see him for a little while longer. And he's been a real difference maker for UCLA over the course of the season, the transfer from Oklahoma State.
Tobe Awaka in and out in the second one, and the rebound tip free and run down by William Kyle III for UCLA. And Awaka, the similar story in the first half. He picked up 2 early fouls, got off to a good start, and had to sit with the foul issues. Inside 10 to shoot. Kobe Johnson, the pass deflected, intended for Tyler Bilodeau. Jaden Bradley pushes.
And that pass was a tick too late.
And there's another pass that was a tip too late, that it was tipped off the shot clock, and it stays at this end with Arizona.
You mentioned Vasar. Remember now, if he gives Tommy Lloyd good playing time and minutes, that brings KJ Lewis and Vasar along with Del Orso, a scorer off the bench, and that's what he's looking for, some continuity in his lineup.
Off the inbound, Caleb Love missing a three, and the offensive rebound, Tobe Awaka on the reload. Three for Caleb Love.
He's their thermometer. When he's hot, they're really good. Can he get hot in this second half?
The transfer from North Carolina has made over 300 threes in his college career, the 5th-year player. Tyler Bilodeau. And the rebound, here comes Arizona and Jaden Bradley. Drives, Bradley fouled, will get to the line.
I think this game changed in the last minutes of the first half when the Wildcats climb back into this game. They're playing with more force right now. We talked about the big guys scoring inside, and Bradley and KJ Lewis particularly. Those guys have got to dominate those drives and get to the rim.
Foul was called on Tyler Bilodeau. And 2 shots for Jaden Bradley of Arizona. 76%er makes the first. The most wonderful time of the year rolls on. It's bowl season. And the IS4S salute to Veterans Bowl. South Alabama, Western Michigan tonight, 9 Eastern on ESPN.
The Broncos. Been to Kalamazoo? Ever call a game there?
I have never been to Kalamazoo.
Well, I spent 6 years.
That is a Bill question, by the way.
Well, that's a truck stop. There's a couple of Cracker Barrels, Bob Evans there. No, it's a great college town. The Broncos of Western Michigan. Always good in football.
Largest lead of the game for the Wildcats.
That's just not a good angle to throw it in there. That's good defense by Townsend, who pushed Bilodeau off the block. And so Clark's decision to pass it was taking Bilodeau away from the basket anyway, and he needed to dribble down to the corner. One more dribble to create a better passing angle.
After Arizona got down by as many as 8 in the first half, they found their footing and are attacking behind the back. And the strip by Sebastian Mack out of bounds to save a dunk from Tobe Awaka. But the attempt at a highlight reel play.
It's actually a good decision right here because it's an easier pass for him to make. And Tobe's not a guy that explodes quickly. He needs to gather himself right here, and that allows the defense. And man, that's a lot of contact.
Caleb Love had a good look, and Tobe Awaka the rebound. Love on the drive, and the floater over the 7'3" Adai Mara, and the Bruins come away with it. Sky Clark in the key, and he got it to go.
Picking up where he left off in the first half.
13 for Clark. U of A with a 2-point lead. Corner three. Good look for Carter Bryant. The Bruins control it.
And freshman Bryant's going to get a lot more time with Krivas out indefinitely. He's going to the rim.
And Sebastian Mack will go to the line.
Now, how do I know that? Well, he had a game this year against Idaho State where he shot 16 free throws. And this is his game right here. And watch the pump fake. Get the defense in the air, draw the contact, and just hold on for dear life.
Second foul on Jaden Bradley. And Sebastian Mack, who leads UCLA in free throw attempts this year. He's made more than double the next Bruin in terms of made free throws this season.
What I like about him is when the offense bogs down, which it has at times, he can go get a basket or get fouled. That's 2 misses.
He missed both, but Kobe Johnson, the offensive rebound. Open three. Too strong from Tyler Bilodeau. Jaden Bradley pushing it for Arizona. Down the lane, Bradley draws the foul.
Well, Tommy Lloyd's got to like the aggressive. He likes the aggressiveness of this team, especially getting down early. Now, these are good looks that UCLA just not knocking down. And then the young man from Rochester kind of surveys the geography, realized nobody's going to stop him, and he gets to the rim.
Third on Kobe Johnson. And 2 free throws for Bradley. But the adjustments that Tommy Lloyd has made in game, Fred, what have you seen? Those first 10 minutes, it was tough sledding for them.
Well, I think, first of all, it's more of a mindset, Roxy. You know, when you're in a street fight and you're getting the lows are being delivered to you, you've got a choice. You can either fight back or you can kind of roll over, right? They fought back.
You're from New York, you'd know.
Yeah, exactly. and I think they're more competitive. They're playing with more toughness.
I'll take your word for it. I grew up in California. I'm soft. I don't know about street fights.
Yeah, I don't think it's anything X and O wise. I think it's just a mentality. And they know that. They've played against this team many times.
Kobe Johnson weaves his way in, draws the foul. And Kobe Johnson will shoot 2 free throws. And it's on Tobe Awaka, his third. Kobe Johnson 0 for 2 at the line. 5 points in this one. 2-time Pac-12 all defensive selection while playing for Andy Enfield at USC. And one more for Kobe Johnson, who leads his UCLA team in steals on the year. And the return of the 7-footer Henry Vesar for Arizona.
And they play a little bit differently with Vesar. He's more of a perimeter pick and roll to the rim. They think they're going to be able to pop him to the 3-point line, unlike Krivas. And Tommy Lloyd told us yesterday, if Krivas is out indefinitely, they're going to definitely have to change their style a little bit.
Because he's more the big, plotting, physical, down-low presence.
That's right.
Tough shot and drawing contact. Trey Townsend.
That's great.
The transfer from Oakland University will get to the line.
You know what you love about that if you're Arizona? Daly's got 3. Now he's got 4 because what did they do? They isolated Townsend on the elbow, and watch. Daly's got to throw his hands back, and instead he leans in. He's got to know better. He's got to throw his hands back so the official sees that he's not making contact. And now he's going to sit probably for the next 8 minutes, and that means UCLA is going to go small now with the freshman Perry in the game.
So 4 fouls on Eric Daly Jr. with 16:01 to go. And last year's Horizon League Player of the Year, Trey Townsend, the grad transfer from Oakland University, went to Oakland as a walk-on for Greg Kampe.
Mom and Dad both played at Oakland, and Dad played for Greg Kampe, who's been there since Dr. Naismith invented the game. I think it's over 40 years now for Coach Kampe. Of course, they knocked off Kentucky in the tournament last year.
What a huge win, and of course, Townsend a big part of that with 17 points and 12 rebounds in that upset of Kentucky. But Arizona by 4 early in the second half in Phoenix. A good one, UCLA and Arizona. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball. Brought to you by Kay, the official partner of couples who love the game. Tonight at 8 Eastern on ESPN, the 90th annual Heisman Trophy ceremony. And the Heisman will be handed out to either Oregon's Dylan Gabriel, Colorado's Travis Hunter, Boise State's Ashton Jeanty, or Cam Ward from Miami. He played at Washington State, Cam Ward. Dylan Gabriel's at Oregon. Travis Hunter, Colorado, Conference of Champions.
Hey. You know what? Can you imagine last year and this year, the Pac-12 in football, they had the best quarterbacks last year. I think the Pac-12 would have been as good a conference as any in football if they had remained together. Look what Oregon's doing. They toyed with the Big Ten this year.
Sebastian Mack missing the pull-up, and it was a great final installment of the Pac-12 as we knew it in 2023. Reach in on Sky Clark.
Now, you can't tell me who you voted for because you're a Heisman voter. I'm going to tell you what I think.
Okay.
I think Travis Hunter is the best football player in the country, and he certainly has a chance to be the #1 pick. And I love him. I think Jeanty had the best season. When you do what he did, 2,300 yards, all those touchdowns.
Boise State has a bye in the college football playoff.
Yep.
The drop-in, Trey Townsend in Arizona has their largest lead.
But I think if I was voting, I'd have to go Travis Hunter. That's my 2 cents. To do what he did on both ends. So I kind of like playing for Mick Cronin.
Good two-way player. Kobe Johnson missing at the rim. And a foul will stay at this end. Henry Vesar picks up his second.
Now, Damar, the one thing you talk to UCLA about, you're looking at him, 7'3", sophomore from Spain, as he's gotten stronger. And he's been injured at times this year, but because he was injured and couldn't practice, he spent a lot of time in the weight room with Dave Andrews, their strength coach, former Ohio State Buckeye football player. And you could tell.
And Vesar smothering Mack on the inbound. Deflection run down by Dylan Andrews.
That's the 4th possession he's had a factor on that inbounds.
And the rebound, Jaden Bradley. Here come the Cats running. KJ Lewis. And the reach in and a foul. Contact from Sebastian Mack of UCLA. And it's interesting with Lewis. And you and I had a lengthy discussion about a myriad of topics with Tommy Lloyd yesterday. But KJ Lewis was the one that was most interesting to me because now he's coming off the bench. He started the first 6 games of the year for Arizona. He went to Tommy Lloyd with that suggestion.
Yes, and it makes them a better team because he brings that energy and juice off the bench, which they obviously have with the starters, but it gives them more depth when you do have to go to the bench. And it's not unusual. You see it in the NBA all the time.
Rattles out on the baseline from Lewis, but that's really a selfless move by a college player to tell his coach, hey, you might be better off bringing me off the bench. It might do this team some good.
And he's still going to play starters minutes. That's the key.
He just doesn't play the first 4 minutes of the game.
Exactly. Good
Henry
job.
Vesar, the rebound, a foul on UCLA.
Yeah, so you're seeing Vesar, who's been injured, missed a year. But now, we said it earlier, necessity, the mother of invention. He has to play without Krivas, and we're watching him grow up a little bit before our eyes, even though he's in his 3rd year and he's a sophomore. Young man from Estonia up in the Baltic region of Europe, where they grow him tall. Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia.
He took a redshirt season last year. He played as a true freshman a couple of years ago. And then he had an elbow injury from a freak golf cart accident and decided to redshirt last year. And now he's going to become more of a factor as this season progresses for Tommy Lloyd in Arizona.
I would say that in the first 26 minutes of the game, we've seen growth.
And he's been able to handle the physicality from UCLA.
Exactly.
Hits both free throws. He's got 8, and the lead is 8 for Arizona. Adai-Mara backs his way in. And the footwork by the 7'3", Adai-Mara.
It doesn't look like it because he's so long. He could slip through a wet straw and come out dry, but he's definitely stronger than what we saw last year. And you could see it right there. Look at those 2 hands. I love that. That's what they practice. They don't reach with 1. They go with 2. Take a look now. This is by design. Watch Johnson now. He goes right in with 2 hands and tries to rip it out of Townsend's hands, and they get the jump ball.
Arrow belongs to Arizona. Not like this. Not
like
this
that.
aggressively.
Right.
You would see it from time to time.
With a smart player, but not in practice
consistently
every day.
doing it.
There they go again.
5 to shoot, and they got a foul against Sky Clark.
I think it's a kick ball.
It is a
they
kick.
got it. Well,
it is a foul.
You got it.
And the second on Clark.
Let's watch right here. Here's Clark reaching in. Oh, now there's no foul.
Okay.
All right.
No foul. They've changed it. It's just a kick ball, which means a shot clock reset to 20.
I'm going to blame Tony Padilla for not being clear on that, okay? It wasn't us.
That was Fred, not me, Tony.
Tony's one of the best.
And the foul is on Adai-Mara, and free throws for the Wildcats.
Every now and then, young big guys get penalized for being big.
You and I wouldn't know that feeling.
I wouldn't know that feeling. But sometimes it looks like a foul, and sometimes it's not.
Henry Vesar, 2 shots, 2 for 2 from the line.
Roxy, we said this at the very beginning of the game. Arizona is 4-4. What was the one word we said that described them coming into today?
Urgency.
Urgency. And the first 8 or so, 10 minutes of the game, I didn't see urgency. We've seen urgency since then. And, you know, Mick Cronin knows it, and his team's got to respond now.
And we mentioned it earlier that, yes, the record says they're 4-4. And since we're in the area where Dennis Green used to coach, the famous rant that he had. Yeah. You are what your record says you are.
Right.
But the schedule they played was extremely challenging.
Yeah, it was.
And in a lot of ways, it's similar to what Kelvin Sampson and Houston are going through, that they had played a really tough schedule early. And they kind of slid under the radar for a little bit. And Kelvin's got them going again. They had a great win against Butler last weekend. And a 3-second call, a turnover on UCLA. But that allows Tommy Lloyd, I think, to regroup and kind of go under the radar and get this team going again.
It does, except that in Tucson,
that's true.
They're used to winning. So that's the sense of urgency. They want to get better. They want to be under the radar. But it's hard to do when you're a blue blood type program. So, and he's not ever experienced this before. I don't remember a Gonzaga team that was 4-4. Could have been. He's got one of the great first 3-year records. Look at this inside. Yep.
Trey Townsend for Arizona. Timeout, UCLA. Largest lead for the Wildcats.
Well, we talked about matching UCLA's grit, fight, and toughness. And it took 10 minutes, but in the last 20 or so, the Wildcats have responded. Go at the bully. And they have.
We need your help. I need your help. We need money for research. It may not save my life. It may save my children's lives. It may save someone you love. And it's very important.
It's V Week at ESPN. We partner with the V Foundation to highlight the urgent need for cancer research. This is game-changing research that helps save lives. You can join the fight against cancer by visiting v.org/donate. 100% of your donation goes directly to cancer research, and all our lives, Fran, have been affected by cancer, loved ones, friends. So please, if you can, reach out to the V Foundation and help beat this dreaded disease.
And I think we might be getting one of our own back soon on this sideline.
Yes, I saw the
good news.
reports.
Dickie V, cancer-free.
So great to see that.
He's going to have a great Christmas holiday with that incredible family. And I know I really hope that Dick is back calling games, because he's like you and I, man. I'd go nuts if I wasn't. I'd be selling insurance if I wasn't calling basketball games. How lucky are we?
I don't know what I would be doing.
I know. I wouldn't be selling insurance. I'd be an assistant at Siena or Manhattan College. Good
Love
catch.
inside to Henry Vasar. This steal from Trent Perry, but he threw it right away. And did he get a timeout? He did. Falling out of bounds. And Jaden Bradley keeps the possession for Arizona. And the timeout, the presence of mind to keep it for Arizona. 9-point Arizona lead. The Cats taking much better care of the ball in the second half. Heads-up play keeps it for Arizona, and the officials discussed this last play. It's interesting for us basketball geeks.
Yes.
About rules and being specific.
Well, most everything that happens in the front court of a team, like a team's possession, is that you reset it to 20. But because he was straddling in the backcourt, it goes to 29. It goes to 30, and obviously 29 on the timeout. Not a big deal unless you're a basketball geek, but that's the rule.
We enjoy those discussions. And it goes off of Arizona, and it belongs to UCLA. And that's the first turnover in the second half for Arizona. That's been a huge difference for Tommy Lloyd and the Cats since those early stages when they had trouble taking care of the ball. I would say somewhat miraculous, but also an indication that UCLA's pressure has not bothered the Wildcats as much as it did early. And the block shot by Anthony Del Orso. Here comes Arizona. Kobe Johnson with the quick hands deflects it out of bounds. Yeah, Kobe Johnson is a nuisance. Now Trent Perry, the freshman, trying to get downhill, but he never gets body to body. See, he'll learn to take his body into the defender. Instead, Del Orso, away from the contact, is able to use that 6'6" length. And Trent Perry, who's coming off back spasms, is going to be a really good player. Just doesn't have a lot of experience right now. Jaden Bradley weaves his way in. The reverse from Jaden Bradley. Everything has been downhill with Bradley today, setting the tone physically. UCLA just one of their last 7 from the floor. One of their last 8 is Caleb Love claims the miss. Arizona was down 2 at the half. They're up 11. Jaden Bradley to the bucket. He leads Arizona with 12. The Wildcat lead is 13. 13-2 run. Sebastian Mack draws the foul. The young man from Rochester, New York, you mentioned he started at Alabama. Last 2 years, he's fit in like a glove for Tommy Lloyd's club. And the one thing Tommy loves is his fearlessness. Watch him get to the rim. Nice job of sealing by Vasar. Sebastian Mack, who is an 80% foul shooter on the year, is now 0 for 3 for the line. And UCLA really struggling at the line today, below 50% as a team. 4 for 11. And a team that is 70% on the season. 13-2 run for Arizona. And Mack misses both. Pass thrown away by Trey Townsend, and that is an Arizona turnover into the backcourt. And Trey got stuck on the baseline and had nowhere to throw it. UCLA's offense has struggled. Just 6 points since halftime. What do you see from them? What are they not doing that they were doing early in this game, besides Sky Clark making shots?
Well, and I would say that, remember how many baskets they got off turnovers. And the fact that they're not a great offensive team, Roxy. They're probably average at best with a great defense. They're not getting easy baskets, and Arizona is tightening it up.
Tyler Bilodeau had a strip, got it back, and he gets the roll.
Now, if I am UCLA, I'm playing everything to the rim, either the guards driving or going inside, and try to match the toughness that Arizona's put back on them since the middle of this first half.
Well, Bilodeau with his toughness inside, knowing his family, you know he's tough.
No question.
Dad, a former first-round pick in the NHL. His mom was a professional basketball player. And Jaden Bradley lost it in the lane, out of bounds. We're going the other way. It belongs to UCLA. And speaking of the Bilodeaus, Dad Brent, drafted 17th overall by Montreal. And Mom Cass, 7 years as a pro.
She's a Montana State Bobcat. Had a great career, player of the year in the Big Sky. There you see him.
And then there's a big smile.
They know.
Brent knew when to look at the big screen on the television here. And that's...
See, now you've got 5 team fouls. And now you shoot the open 3, obviously, even though that's not their game. But if you're UCLA, you got to reestablish getting to the paint, getting somebody in foul trouble. We haven't seen Eric Daly for much of the second half with 4 fouls. That's how you go to the rim.
And Bilodeau with the touch. 9 for Tyler Bilodeau, and Daly sitting with those 4 fouls.
He's been a non-factor, and that's huge. Look at Martinez in the game now.
And Daly's been sitting for the last 7 minutes.
Yeah, Tommy Lloyd really wanted to elongate his bench, and he's done that in this game.
KJ Lewis lost his footing, got a timeout before the tie-up as Bilodeau diving in there to try to get his hands on it. So a 30-second timeout. Arizona has just 1 timeout left. And UCLA has 2. Team fouls 8 on the Bruins, 5 on Arizona. Possession arrow at this point favors UCLA, but the second half that's been controlled by Arizona.
Yeah, no question. Again, we talked about the toughness. They've matched it. But Daly picking up foul trouble is a huge loss. He's basically fouled out of the first 32 minutes of this game, so to speak, because he was, I'm telling you, Roxy, he might not be their best player, but he's been their most valuable so far this season. And he's been invisible today because of the 4 fouls.
Could you be forced to bring him back earlier than you would like because of the way this game is trending?
Yes, but Mick is old school. I mean, if you watch Mick through the years, you know, he'd rather save him for the end, even though it might be too late by then. It's worked for him because he wins 70% of his games or more. But yes, I would bring him back by now because you got nothing to lose when you're down 9.
12 on the shot clock for Arizona. Here's Caleb Love. Gets inside. Trey Townsend lays it in. Back to a double-digit Arizona lead.
That was a great play by Love because even with 12, he started his drive immediately. Some of those young guards take too long to get it started, and they don't get anything.
Lazar Stefanovic. And the offensive rebound, Sky Clark. And there's a whistle, and off the ball, Caleb Love is limping around noticeably for Arizona. Mick Cronin must have heard you, Fran, because he's bringing Eric Daly Jr. back in the game.
I doubt he's listening to me, but he knows it's either now or never, really. It's really unfortunate for the Bruins because he's a good player.
16th foul on Arizona, so the next one puts UCLA into the bonus. Bilodeau.
That's well done. And that's where they need to keep going.
Inside 8 minutes. And Henry Vesar has it knocked away, and a foul on UCLA will send Vesar to the line. 7:56 to go. Arizona up 9 on number 24, UCLA.
Phil Murphy here in studio. Women's volleyball regional final. We'll have first serve on ESPN News, then move over to ESPN2. Number 1 Pitt, an ACC Player of the Year, Olivia Babcock, one of 4 first-team All-Conference honorees, looking for a 4th straight trip to a Final Four. Kentucky stands in the way there. Kentucky stands in the way of Chucky Heckburn and Louisville. Bluegrass State bragging rights on the line, Roxy, on ESPN. Tip there in 24 minutes.
Yeah, Phil, that's kind of a big game between Louisville and Kentucky.
It's not the state of Kentucky, it's the Commonwealth. And Kentucky's former players, they did a great video on social media about the importance of the game, making sure those current players understand what it means.
Kobe Johnson ripped it away, and Sebastian Mack, the reverse land. There's the hustle and grit again from UCLA.
Yeah, and you asked me what was wrong with UCLA. They weren't scoring off those turnovers, and that changed right there. Oh, wow, threw it. Oh, good catch. I thought that ball was going out of bounds, and it went out of bounds anyway because he stepped on the line.
That's what happens when you're 7 feet tall. You have those long arms.
Yes. And again, Roxy, whether it's the defense or it's in the half court, UCLA's got to play to the rim. Hard drives, post-ups for Bilodeau, Daly back. Mick Cronin orchestrating this half court from the sideline now.
Eric Daly playing with his 4 fouls. He's got the ball down low against Jaden Bradley.
Mack will get to the rim. Watch.
Sky Clark. And the rebound. Here comes Jaden Bradley, who's doing everything for Arizona today. KJ Lewis glides in, and a foul.
Well, when we talk about toughness, and we use that word today a lot, Bradley and Lewis certainly have it. There's no question. And, you know, we were talking about this at halftime. They've played good basketball in the Pac-12, but this kind of reminds me of a Big 12 game. And people ask me about Arizona and, you know, Utah and Arizona State. What's the key to winning in the Big 12? And I said, winning at home. And when you talk about the McHale Center, it's a difficult place for opponents to win, especially when you have guards that play with this kind of aggressiveness today.
In a lot of ways today, this Footprint Center in Phoenix has resembled McHale Center North, with all the crowd enthusiasm from the Arizona fans, the U of A chants.
Oh, yeah. Next year, it's Las Vegas. And then a year off, and then into it in LA, the beautiful new arena. Great series. Hope it keeps going.
Dylan Andrews has been quiet today. He is scoreless. Sky Clark is having his best offensive game of the year. Tyler Bilodeau. And the rebound grabbed by UCLA. Bilodeau double clutches and drops it in.
And I think Mick Cronin wanted a foul. He waved at Tony Batilla like, get out of here. He stayed with it. Good effort.
It was 13. UCLA has trimmed it to 6. Approaching 6 minutes to go. Tyler Bilodeau 13 and Sky Clark 13 points to lead UCLA. Jaden Bradley with 12 to lead Arizona as Henry Vasar missing a 3. And the Bruins grab the rebound.
Now they keep playing through Bilodeau. Let's see if they do it again.
Here he is. And Tyler Bilodeau again for UCLA.
And you know what? He's not just powering the ball to the rim. That's pretty good to step out and knock down that 12-footer.
And it's a 4-point game. Shot clock inside 10. And a 12-3 run for the Bruins to get back into the game. Tough fall away from Jaden Bradley. The offensive rebound, Trey Townsend, and a fresh 20 on the timer for the Cats.
And shades of Keyshawn Johnson right there. Nice drive.
Spins out for Jaden Bradley.
Watch Mick Cronin. He orchestrates the offense from the sideline.
Dylan Andrews. Down low, it's first points of the game. And it's a two-point game.
And that ball was almost stolen and gone the other way. Remember, Arizona's got one timeout left. That's it.
Henry Vesar.
Probably not the shot Tommy Lloyd wanted right there from his reaction.
Dylan Andrews. Tyler Bilodeau for the lead. And the rebound, Caleb Love for Arizona. Trey Townsend dropped the ball, picked up Dylan Andrews. To the basket, Andrews, we're tied. From 13 down, the Bruins have come all the way back to pull even with 3.5 to go.
TV timeout coming, so Tommy Lloyd does not want to burn his last one.
Arizona blitzed by a 12-1 run for UCLA. Caleb Love. And the rebound, and it's controlled by the Bruins and Dylan Andrews.
Mick Cronin is like a maestro right now. He is orchestrating every possession, almost every pass from the sideline. But it's not that hard when you got Bilodeau playing the way he is.
10 on the shot clock. Now 5 to shoot. Sky Clark drives the kick. Eric Daly Jr. missing a 3, but the offensive rebound, Kobe Johnson. Sky Clark. And the rebound, Caleb Love. Good looks for UCLA.
Really good looks. Not a great shooting team, but the looks were great.
Inside 2.5 in a tie game. Neither team has shot it well from deep in this one. Caleb Love had it stripped. Tyler Bilodeau dives, and UCLA 2-on-1. The lob, and a foul on Jaden Bradley. A good one in Phoenix, tied with 2:13 to go. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Continental Tire, the smart choice in tires. Well, coming up, another huge rivalry matchup in the Bluegrass States for the Commonwealth. Number 5, Kentucky in Louisville on ESPN. Dan Shulman, Jake Bilas, as our friend Little Billy Walton used to call him.
That's a good matchup, but where else would you rather be, Roxy, than in the Valley of the Sun? That is your name, right?
Yes. Yes, it is, Bill. And no, I have not read this particular book, and no, I have not been to Kalamazoo. But the game of the millennium, it's in our hands.
Could be.
16-3 run for Bill Walton's UCLA Bruins to tie the game with 2:13 to go. And Arizona, Fran, they've been scoreless for about 5 minutes, and it just seems that UCLA has taken this game and brought it to a crawl.
Yes.
And has turned it into a grinded-out kind of game.
And we've praised the play of Bradley, certainly KJ Lewis, but offensively, I don't see Arizona with the one go-to guy where you just, you know, Chuck Daly, the great Pistons coach, used to say, what will the play do when the play breaks down? Because what will the player do when the play breaks down? Because it will break down. They haven't had a breakdown scorer today.
And it crawls in for Eric Daly Jr. Has been saddled with foul trouble all day. And 3 points for the sophomore, the transfer from Oklahoma State. And UCLA has their first lead since the early stages of the second half. And the struggles of the line as Henry Vasar pulls it in for Arizona. But UCLA is just 5 for 14 at the free throw line today.
Out of this timeout, well, that's an offensive foul, and you just can't do that.
And that's the 4th on Henry Vasar.
It's one of my pet peeves. You must come to a stop, and oftentimes the big will go too late, and he just moves into the defender, and that's a good call. There's no doubt about it. You have to come to a 2-foot stop. It's a play that should never happen to a big man. You gotta be smarter than that. I was anxious to see where Arizona was going to go out of the timeout.
9 straight points for UCLA.
They're going in.
Tyler Bilodeau's at the hot hand. Up and under Bilodeau, that great footwork down low.
And a great touch as well up top. Really nicely done. Do you know where Mick Cronin wants that ball? Because it's happening.
Jaden Bradley. In and out. KJ Lewis, the offensive rebound, and a foul. And 2 free throws for Lewis with 80 seconds remaining. The 3rd on Sky Clark.
Roxy, you mentioned the great footwork. You're absolutely right, but that's a great touch right here, too. That 4-footer is tricky because you don't really practice it that much.
How much would Bill Walton love that?
Oh, he would have loved that move, I'm telling you.
2 shots, Lewis 1 for 2 from the line.
I mean, I think Bill would have compared this young guy to David Myers. Bilodeau.
1 more for KJ Lewis.
Or Richard Washington.
Or Kevin McHale, who he played with in Boston.
Yeah. Even some shades of Luke Walton, although he wore the blue and red. Tyler's been terrific today.
And it's a 1-point game. Bilodeau can't finish, and Henry Vasar pulls it away for Arizona.
Who's going to take the shot?
There's a mismatch inside if they can get it there.
They got it.
Trey Townsend doubled and dribbled it out of bounds. Arizona with a turnover.
First of all, Clark held his ground with his chest, and then watch Kobe Johnson. Watch Clark with the chest, and then Kobe just comes in there, harasses the ball handler, and they double team the ball out of Townsend's hands into a turnover.
About an 8-second differential between the game and shot clock. Dylan Andrews, and UCLA calls a timeout in danger of a 10-second violation, and they get the timeout. 22 on the timer, 29.7 remaining.
That's
in a
right.
1-point UCLA lead.
Keep in mind, Roxy, when the offensive team calls a timeout with the ball in the backcourt, they get a new 10-second count. Watch the pressure now. It's a 1-2-1-1 press. It's a nuisance press. They turn it up, and then a smart timeout by Mick Cronin. Under 2 minutes, the coach can call a timeout on a live ball, which is what Mick did, to the nearest official. Now, they got the ball. There's not much time. See, this is where I would foul.
If you're Tommy Lloyd, so you don't think there's enough time to play this out?
I don't, and I'll tell you why. UCLA is good on the offensive glass. So in my mind, I'm going to press trap maybe a couple times because there's time to do it. I would foul a bad foul shooter if I could do it.
And keep in mind, it's a 1-and-1.
That's right.
18 fouls against Arizona, and UCLA, with their struggles from the free throw line, just 5 for 14 today.
That's right. If we take our chances and don't foul, based on the way this game is going with Bilodeau and Daly, I don't know that you're necessarily going to get the defensive rebound. So I wouldn't foul immediately. I'd foul to trap and try to steal it. maybe once or twice, because there's time, maybe a third trap, but usually you don't get more than 2, and then I would foul. They may not do that. They may play it out. If they play it out on a defensive rebound, I got to push it quick.
1 timeout remaining aside.
The jump ball is to the Bruins. And they're going to put the pressure on. I like it.
Here's Dylan Andrews. And Arizona looks like they're going to play it out.
Yep. This is a big defensive rebound.
Andrews pulls up for 3. And the rebound. Batted around. Sky Clark has it for UCLA, and they foul him with 6.1 to go. And just what you talked about.
That's the problem, especially when you play UCLA. They're so good at crashing the offensive glass. You're taking your chances. Now, here's the good thing for Arizona. UCLA has not shot free throws well. But if UCLA goes up 3, Mick Cronin will foul on the dribble up the court.
Sky Clark, 75% for the line this season. His first trip today. It's a 1-and-1. That was the 9th Arizona team foul. 6.1 to go. And a timeout taken by Arizona. It is their last timeout.
That's right. Now keep in mind, Roxy, we've said this many times. I had this happen to me. You have 6 dribbles to get it up the court. Plenty of time. If you're Arizona, and let's assume you're either down 1, 2, or 3, because those are the scenarios. If they're down 3, UCLA is likely to foul and not give up a 3. If it's 2 or 1 and you're Arizona and you get a clean defensive rebound, you can certainly get up the court in 4 seconds. And you've got to push it quickly, and they've got the guards to do it.
And believe me, that's something UCLA practices, fouling in a situation like this. It's not just something you bring up in the huddle, hey, we're going to foul here.
Totally.
They practice this.
Well, here's what we always tell young coaches. You make your pressure decisions in the non-pressure time of the off-season. So you don't wait till December 14th for scenarios. These have been worked on, talked about, practiced in the summer, in October, and in November. So we'll see how it plays out.
6.1 seconds. A 1-and-1 for Sky Clark, who has a season-high 13 points today. Again, the struggles for UCLA from the foul line today.
If you're UCLA, you do not want to commit a foul on the free throw line. Okay, so you got to be judicious. I'm going to be anxious to see how many blue jerseys are on the free throw line. William Kyle is in. And he may be back as a rim protector because he's not going to be on the free throw line. Now he is.
The transfer from South Dakota State, who was the Summit League Defensive Player of the Year last year. And when Mick went into the portal, he was selective about guys he wanted to bring in.
He did.
1-and-1 for Clark.
Okay, now 2 scenarios. On a miss, UCLA will not foul, and you got to go coast to coast. On a make, UCLA, let's see if they foul. Don't give up the 3.
3-point game.
And Kobe Johnson is a good defender.
Here comes Jaden Bradley. KJ Lewis has a look. And the rebound, UCLA controls, and the Bruins have come back and knocked off Arizona. 57-54, UCLA with the win. 8 straight wins for the Bruins, who are now 9-1.
I love the fact that Mick Cronin, you know, many of us think you fouled there. He says no. He did give up a good look. Take a look. Tommy Lloyd would win with that one, but it didn't go down.
From 13 down in the second half, UCLA rallies, and they stun Arizona in Phoenix. Again, the final, 57-54 UCLA. For Fran Fraschilla and our ESPN crew, Roxy Bernstein from Phoenix. Coming up, the NCAA Women's Volleyball Championship, Kentucky and Pitt.